and welcome to the topic on labor movement. In this topic, we are going to concentrate on understanding the roles of trade unions. These critical roles are important to ensure that the economy is moving forward. So the labor movement, when you're talking about the labor movement, is all about all organizations representing workers who sell their efforts in the labor market. And these organizations are, for example, the trade unions. And we say that a trade union is simply an association of workers formed to protect the interests of these workers in employment situations such as things to do with payment, things to do with proper working conditions, issues to do with promotions. It is the role of trade unions to be able to push this kind of an agenda to the government to ensure that workers are protected, workers feel valued, workers are safe in their working places, and it is important to have these unions. So we cannot ignore them. We cannot wish them away because they are a critical component in every country. I'm sure you have heard of trade unions. We have one for teachers that is known as the Kenya National Union of Teachers, NAT. Now, when negotiations are going on between the trade unions and government, we have a document that is prepared. Once they get to reach an agreement, and we call it the collective bargaining agreement, and this document is also deposited with the industrial court. The industrial court is the court that has been specifically set aside to be able to hear disputes relating to matters of labor, challenges or problems between employer and an employee, and between organizations and an employee, and so on and so forth. Then objectives of trade unions. Why do trade unions exist? Number one is to secure for workers fair wages in line with the cost of living and prevailing standards of living. So the role of trade unions is to push for fair wages. The other one is improve the working conditions for workers, e.g. better working facilities and other welfare benefits. The other one is protect the interests of workers and safeguard them against exploitation by employers. So that one is very important. The other one is to ensure job security for workers by resisting retrenchment and any other victimization likely to happen. So they fight for the rights of workers. Many a times when workers raise alarms, that might be used against them. So it is the role of trade unions to come stand with them and protect them. The other one is provide a medium through which workers' interests and grievances can be expressed. So they provide a platform. Workers are free to raise their issues through trade unions. Reasons for joining a trade union. Why would people want to join trade unions? Because there are very many. In every industry, you can be sure there is a trade union, and I'm inviting you to do that as your assignment. Even for domestic workers, we have what we call KUDHEIA, Kenya Union of Domestic Workers Union, something like that. So there are so many of them that we cannot be able to name all of them. So one is the reason for joining trade unions. One is to improve the working conditions. The other one is due to pressure from colleagues who are already in a union. So due to pressure also, people are pushed to join trade unions. The other one is the dissatisfaction that comes with different management. Every organization runs its things in a certain way, so there might be some level of dissatisfaction. The other one is need for avenues of leadership. When you look around, even in other countries, trade union leaders, after they complete their stint in the union, they venture into the country's leadership in terms of members of parliament, and others can also be presidents. It depends with the country, and it depends with what these union leaders are looking for. The other one is now reasons why individuals refuse to join trade unions. There are those that do not see it as an important thing to do. Number one, we say that it costs money to be a member of a union. The other one is negative thoughts on trade unions, that unions are unnecessary. Some feel that there is no need for a union. Others have a belief that since we have a collective bargaining representing all workers, that they are also catered for in those collective bargaining discussions. And finally, we may have people with individual beliefs that they don't see it right, that they need to join a trade union. Now we have what we call the Central Organization of Trade Union. This is what we call the umbrella body of all the unions. So we say that all trade unions are affiliated to KOTU in Kenya, except a few. So most of the other small unions, or most of the other unions, the umbrella body, or the topmost or the biggest union that covers all other unions is called the Central Organization of Trade Union. What are some of the objectives of KOTU? Number one is improve the economic and social conditions of workers in all parts of the country. Number two is assisting in settling of disputes between members of trade unions and their employers. Number three is encourage the principle of development and maintenance of good relations between employers and employees. So there is need to have a good relationship. It is the role of the Central Organization of Trade Union to mediate, play a role in negotiations between employers and employees, and ensure generally there is what we call peace and harmony, or what we call industrial harmony between the players in the industry, who are the employers and the employees as the main players. And employees, of course, they are represented by the union. The other one is secure adequate representation on government boards and committees dealing with labor issues. So you're going to find members of the Central Organization of Trade Union will sit in government boards, for example, the National Hospital Insurance Fund Board, the National Social Security Fund Board. You're going to find representatives there, because part of the discussions that are ongoing in those boards involve contributions that have been made by citizens and who are members of this union. And finally is to establish and maintain funds by means of membership fees. So how do we sustain these unions? You realize that members will have contributed some monthly amount. Also, they will receive donations and other what we call members subscriptions. And then we have the functions of KOTU is maintaining and advancing the terms and conditions of employees, as well as improving the physical working conditions. The other one is safeguarding and increasing employment opportunities. The other one is setting up appropriate committees to provide benefits and welfare activities such as education and training and legal aid. The other one is serving as an agency for the purpose of commenting on economic, social, and political affairs of workers. All this information I also invite you to do as an assignment, that you Google or find out the Central Organization of Trade Union website or the KOTU website. This is information that I'm sure will also be found on those platforms in terms of objectives, in terms of the functions. You will also get to know the leadership structure of the Central Organization of Trade Unions. Then KOTU, of course, we have said it represents employees. Now we have what we call the Federation of Kenya Employers. Now this is a body that also speaks on behalf of the employers. Employers are those organizations and companies that are giving people jobs. they also need to have a voice. For example, in Kenya, there was a proposal that the amount that people were contributing for the National Social Security Fund, which was around $2, the government felt that it was not enough. And they were proposing that we move from contributing $2 a month, where the employer tops up a similar amount of $2, to move to a point where we can now save $20 a month. And of course, you remember, as an employer, you need to match that amount. So if a staff contributes $20, you also contribute $20. And employers are, of course, up in arms, demonstrating about that and saying that they don't feel it is the right way to go. They feel that that will increase their expenses because they have to match the employee's amount. The other one is the objectives of FKE, promote good relations between employers and employees through trade unions. The other one is also to encourage fair labor practices among employers. The other one is to be able to provide a forum for consultation between employers and employees. So they create an avenue where people can negotiate, discuss about the issues of employees. The other one is represent and advocate and also defend the interests of employers. And finally is to be able to initiate, promote, and support legislative measures. So the Federation of Kenya Employers can be able to also push the agenda through parliament, development of laws that are going to favor employees, and all is to safeguard the interest of employers who are represented in this particular organization. And finally, this is our final assessment point. I will be expecting you also to do this in combination with the other assessment point that we saw, and then we will be using that to be able to grade you. So thank you so much. I invite you to take up more courses at Mask College of Business and Technology, more short courses, longer courses. We have a wide array of courses around accounting, business courses, fashion and design. So as you finalize this particular module on advanced economics, you can also find out on what other options and courses that you can be able to take. Thank you so much for your time, and I wish you all the best as you complete this particular module by undertaking this particular assignment. Thank you so much.